I think Osimhen's. It sounds like it's a doable one. It feels like, doesn't it?
And his stock's not as high as it was.
When you talk about supposedly got financial problems, then you think he'd be one of the doable. But I'd keep Hojlund though. I'd keep him with him. Look, he's 20. I know he's not been great. I can see all your faces.
My head's gone with him.
He's a 22-year-old kid, been asked to play centre forward for Manchester United on his own for the last 2 years.
I just feel like it might have gone too far now.
Pardon?
I feel like it. I kind of agree with you because I think he will move on and do well. But I feel like it's gone so far with him where you can see his decision making's being affected. You can see he's being weighed down by the shirt.
He's had to play every week. He's the only one there. He's a 22-year-old kid. Man United should have at least three, with the way they're playing now, at least three top centre forwards.
We'll get back to Scholes in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And as ever, if something is bubbling up inside of you, if something is on your mind that you need to express, please express it in the comments. The Big D reads all of the comments, and he's always interested in what is on your mind. Anyway, in this little clip, we're going to be hearing from Paul Scholes, a magnificent central midfielder, legendary creative playmaker, give his shock opinion about Manchester United's transfer plans and what he thinks about Rasmus Højlund and what striker they could potentially get. Stick around for after the clip because the Big D is going to be giving his assessment on some of the opinions that is expressed in this clip and why I disagree. But anyway, here's Scholesy.
But I would go for someone like Victor Osimhen. He's obviously available on the market. He's a similar age to Gyokores and stuff. The Gyokores one I don't want United to go for that one. It's just a gut feeling, and I could be massively wrong. He could come to the Premier League and score loads of goals. But I look at that and feel like he used to be mates with Ruben Amorim, who was his coach at Sporting. Are we going down the Eric Ten Hag path with these signings here, just signing players that he knows? So,
and he wasn't great when he was over here, was he?
He wasn't, no.
What he was for Coventry, to be fair. Yeah, but that's,
I think Osimhen's. It sounds like it's a doable one. It feels like, doesn't it?
And his stock's not as high as it was.
When you talk about supposedly got financial problems, then you think he'd be one of the doable. But I'd keep Hojlund though. I'd keep him with him. Look, he's 20. I know he's not been great. I can see all your faces.
My head's gone with him.
He's a 22-year-old kid, been asked to play centre forward for Manchester United on his own for the last 2 years.
I just feel like it might have gone too far now.
Pardon?
I feel like I kind of agree with you because I think he will move on and do well. But I feel like it's gone so far with him where you can see his decision making's being affected. You can see he's being weighed down by the shirt.
He's had to play every week. He's the only one there. He's a 22-year-old kid. Man United should have at least three, with the way they're playing now, at least three top centre forwards. And I'd bring him into that. If you had Osimhen, even get Osimhen and Gyokores, whatever he's called.
You know Osimhen, right?
We ain't gonna have the.
You know what? He's struggled like mad of late, especially, and at Hojlund. But he's not got the chance to sit down and watch. I mean, if a striker's not doing well, you've no confidence, the man just sits you down on the bench, just come back and have a look. Get a bit of hunger back, a bit of feeling back for the game. Can't believe how we all know he's quit. What was that?
Hojlund. That was Hojlund?
We all know he has got centre forward quality. We've seen it. Look, not enough, I know that. But if he's got experience around, say he had Andy Cole and Dwight York around him, I mean, it'd bring him on so much.
He wouldn't even be on the bench if they had them around him.
Yeah, no, but I
know what you're saying.
He's been absolutely flogged to death.
Didn't even want him to start.
People forget how old he is, though.
I do see that, and I think in his first season, like me and Rory used to have these debates a lot, and he's slowly worn me down to his way of thinking, unfortunately.
That's what he does.
But like, last season when he scored like 16 goals, United were crap. Like, we weren't creating many chances, and he was making chances for himself. But this year, like, someone would play a pass down the line, and instead of trying his best to bust a gut and go and get it, he'll just throw his hands up at him, and you just think, you're not Cristiano Ronaldo to be throwing your hands up and waving them around.
Adam, a lot of that is confidence, though. I think recruitment-wise for United with this system, it's quite confusing. Well, it's confusing for us, but I assume because he knows the system, he's been doing it for a while, he'll have a really good idea of it. The centre-halves can't change. He's got 5 centre-halves already. You think of De Ligt, Martinez, Euro, Maguire, and the young kid Heaven. So they're not going to get a centre-half. The 2 midfield players, that's possibly a place where they could bring someone in. Ugarte at this moment hasn't worked. Now, another year down the line, he might be okay. I think Casemiro was quite good towards the end of the season, but when you're talking about being physically better, Casemiro doesn't really come into that. And then you think about the number 10s, you talk about Coonan, aren't we? He could possibly be a centre forward.
Might be a good player. Well, he's a good player.
He could be a centre forward. I think the wing backs is a difficult one to recruit for. I think he's stuck in between having a wing back who can defend or a wing back who's a winger, basically.
You know, it would have been good in his system, Wan-Bissaka, you know. In his system. I know he weren't working for Ten Hag. Is that right decision? As that right wing back, just further forward.
No, because you know what? The amount of times his wing backs that he's got now, say it's Mazraoui, Dalat or Dorgu, the new lad who's come in, they're in acres and acres of space. But once they're in that final third, they've no quality. That's where I think maybe you bring someone who's more thinking of attacking really more than defending. You think Dorgu is brought in. Yeah. And you think that's the one he might like because
Ahmad was the only one who looked like a proper.
Ahmad is the one who can do it. Who's the winger? Who probably don't want to run back all the time, but he's going to have to play in the system. Whether you're playing that number 10 system, I don't think it suits him. So when he's out wide, he is a real threat. Garnacho possibly on the other side, but again he's not going to be the one.
I don't think he's going to be him.
He's not going to be the one running back. The signing of Dorgu is a little bit concerning because it's more of a defensive.
I think he brings up the athleticism in the team as well. Like we're not very athletic. Like you said, we went into the game against Spurs.
If your team with that system are getting most of the ball through the wing backs, and they're not very good on the ball, it's a waste of time.
You know when you talk like this, Paul, listening to the players, like when we talk about transfer windows, we always focus on the players coming in, don't we? Do you think there should be a mass clear out? Like how many do you think should leave?
Oh yeah, definitely. There will be.
But like, what about in terms of the players that have? Do you think Mason Mount should stay at Manchester United, for example?
Why are you digging into Mason?
No,
I'm just curious.
No, it's a good question because the kid's never fit, is he? No, I know towards the end of the season he has managed to stay fit for 4 or 5 weeks, and I think he's a really good player. But is he ever going to stay fit enough?
Manager loves him.
If you say to me now he's ready for 45 games next year, then yeah, all day long. But I just don't see it happening. Luke Shaw's a set. How long are we going to carry on with Luke Shaw? He's brilliant. He's perfect for the left wing back position 5 years ago, but he can't do that now. He's missed so much football. If he plays wing back, he gets injured.
Nope.
But that's the problem. You can't change the ball. You want to change.
No,
that's what I mean, though. Like,
we might need to because we've got no Euro.
You would probably want to get a better goalkeeper, but you're talking about budget.
Yeah.
You talk about other places of the pitch where it's more important. You just got to say, look, he was great for Inter Milan 2 or 3 years ago. We've just got to hope he's probably not had his best couple of years and that he comes good. And that's the places where you try and save your money.
De Gea shouldn't have gone. De Gea shouldn't have gone, honestly.
What?
I was so...
38 games next season.
He should have done.
When he went...
It was the right time for him.
Nah, he had to go.
When he went out...
It was the right time for him.
You're only happy to see him because he tossed 2 in the cup final.
Mate, exactly. He
the
was
amount of
ready to
saves
go.
De Gea made. De Gea won the Golden Glove the season he left as well.
But
People don't remember that. He won Player of the Season.
It was the right decision to get rid of De Gea. It was the wrong decision with who.
I'm glad he went anyway, personally, but yeah.
Is there any chance of that?
I 100% agree with Paul Scholes in this instance with Rasmus Højlund. Absolutely. I have said many times in many videos that you have seen, hopefully, that I think Rasmus Højlund is a world-class centre-forward waiting to happen. He's just been given too much too soon. And Man United have been in a flux for the past few seasons. And a big part of that is there's been a lot of players there who just haven't been quite ready for Premier League football. Rasmus Højlund being a prime candidate for that. But he's got all the physical attributes needed to be a centre-forward in the Premier League. He just doesn't have sort of the mental acumen just yet. And he's absolutely right, Paul Scholes, when he says he just needs to sit back and watch a more experienced centre-forward ply their trade. Now, if he did have an Andy Cole or a Solskjaer or a Dwight York to learn from, or even if Ruud was the manager, Ruud stayed for the rest of that season that we've just endured, and that's the word to use, endured, then Ruud could have given him the benefit of his experience. And he might have kicked on as well. If he'd had that, then this coming season could have been his breakout year. But I strongly urge that Manchester United keep Rasmus Højlund. Or even, if we got Osimhen and Gyokores, and sent Rasmus Højlund out on loan to Inter Milan, say, that might be something. Or if they kept him as the third option, Osimhen, Gyokores and Hojlund, then Rasmus Højlund could learn both from Gyokores and Osimhen. But I think it's going to be one or the other with regards to Osimhen and Gyokores. If I had to choose between Gyokores and Osimhen, I would go every time with Osimhen. And I agree with Adam there. There's just something about Gyokores I'm not sure about. I've seen footage of Gyokores, and it just seems to me that he's found his level in Portugal. I don't see that kind of that magic where he could transfer that 60 goals to the Premier League. Even if he got 30 goals in the Premier League, fair enough. But I don't know, my gut instinct just says to me, no. I mean, if we got him for 30 million as a rotation option, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. But I can't help but feel we need magic up front. And I think Victor Osimhen could be the one to provide that, because I've looked at Victor Osimhen's sort of clips from the Turkish league, which is probably a similar league to the Portuguese league, and it just looks like LeBron James playing with dwarfs. I'm not even kidding. He just looks completely out of place, and it just looks far too good for that league. Whereas, as I say, looking at Gyokores, it looks like that's his level, even though he's doing really well there. So I don't know. I could be wrong. I hope Gyokores comes to Man United and proves me wrong, and I will be the first to admit it. But again, I agree. He was at Coventry, and it's like he didn't really do well there. So maybe he just needs to unlock it. I don't know. But the point being, Osimhen looks like a better fit for Manchester United. He looks like a player that's on the cusp of becoming a world beater. So, yeah, that's my assessment on the Osimhen situation. If you got Osimhen in and Rasmus Højlund learned from Osimhen, I think that's great. Yeah, absolutely. With regards to Wan-Bissaka, yeah, I agree. I think Wan-Bissaka left Man United too soon, a season too soon. And I think he would thrive in the Ruben Amorim system, but not in the same position that's suggested in this clip. I think Wan-Bissaka would have suited playing as one of the back three, because that back three lacks pace. And Wan-Bissaka's not great going forward, but by the good Lord, he's brilliant at tackling and tracking back. So if you stuck him in one of those back three positions alongside De Ligt and, say, Harry Maguire, he could have been the player that does the covering, the sweeping up in that back three. So yeah, I agree. Letting Wan-Bissaka go was, but we didn't know we were going to get Osimhen. We didn't know we were going to get Ruben Amorim, did we, at that point? So that's a shame. That I liked Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's a specialist, pace, and he can tackle and man mark. So yeah, he was good. Mass clear out. What is this notion about a mass clear out? Man United don't need a mass clear out. All that team needs is a bit of magic up front and a new goalkeeper. We do that, we finish top four. Simple as that. And Cunha seems to be an astute signing. If we get Mbeumo and a number 9, that transforms that strike force and, the team kick on. In terms of the goalie, budget problems, I've been saying time and time again, budget problems are a red herring. We are not in as bad a position as what's been made out. And it just shows you, we've just forked out 65 million or whatever it is for Cunha. And it looks like we're going to be paying another 60 million for Mbeumo, and we're going to get a number 9. So how can we have transfer budget problems if we're spending 120 million on 2 players and we're going to get a number 9 in as well, who's probably going to cost 60 million? That's 180 million. Now, I said that Man United have probably got 250 million to spend this summer, and so far I'm being proved right. So we definitely need a goalkeeper. So if we sold, say, Onana for 30 million to Saudi or wherever, we could put that towards getting Diogo Costa, who's got, I think, something like a 60 million euro buyout clause in his contract. So, I mean, that makes perfect sense. And I'm sick to death of this notion about De Gea. David De Gea should still be at Manchester United. And yeah, Golden Gloves winner, and it wasn't the right time. And he would have done a better job playing for Manchester United in this past 2 years than Andre Onana has done. But anyway, what do you guys think? Who would you rather have, Gyokores or Osimhen? Should we get a new goalkeeper? Who should it be? I say Diogo Costa. And can we afford all these signings? Thoughts in the comments, and the Big D will see you in the next one.